All right, welcome everybody. Good morning. What is going on? All of you who joined morning prayers, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Those who subscribed, to see some subscribers. And those of you who joined Dr. David Patrick Harry and I last night for our stream. That was fun. Long day yesterday. It was a funny day. I went to Great Falls, about an hour and 20 minutes north, and to St. Mark's, Father Andrew's parish, because I thought it was covering for him and I got the wrong day. Couldn't believe it. Showed up, but I see Father Andrew in the matins, and I'm like, oh no, I got the wrong day. He's like, what are you doing? You're here. It's supposed to be here next week. And I'm like, ugh. And of course, I didn't have my vestments with me because I was going to do a reader's typical service, so I didn't actually serve, which is interesting. It's weird for a deacon to sit out. Like I'm so, it's a humbling experience. I'm so used to wanting to do and serve and do something, and to kind of take a back seat and be as the laity in the liturgy. It's an awkward feeling. I did sing in the choir. Um, Anyways, lesson learned. Like Father says, always carry your vestments with you. I'm like, I know. So learning experience, humbling experience, but it was good to be with everybody there and Father Andrew, and then to go to lunch with everybody. And I will be back next Sunday actually doing the Reader's Typical service since I've got the date wrong. So 2 Sundays in a row in Great Falls. That's great. It's fine. I miss my family in Orthodox family in Butte. It's been a while since the Holy Trinity. Seems what was I do? What was last week? Everything's been so busy I can't even keep track of my days. Okay, what last Sunday? Oh, I've gotten sick. I did liturgy in our mission parish of Holy Trinity, the satellite mission, Holy Ascension on Saturday. Got sick the previous Sunday, and then the previous Sunday before that, I think was Holy. Yeah, it's been a long time. It's been a crazy couple weeks. So, anyways, it is what it is. Deacons have to go where they're called and serve where they're needed. So that is all. Um, then straight back home, we had to pick up one of the parishioners. We had to pick up some tires and wheels. Then came back straight into a stream. So no post liturgical nap. And we went 3 hours last night. And then basically after that, setting up all the courses for the Canvas courses. Every Monday morning, I publish and release that week's assignments. And so rather than doing it, waking up super early, Monday morning, typically what I do is Sunday evening, I go through each and every one of the course and I set it to be released Monday morning. So I'm tired, to be honest. Uh, Tonight is for all of you who are in the Canvas University courses. Is many of you will be your first office hours. That's 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. As Dave says, Mountain Goat time. And it has been by far the most successful enrollment thus far on the Canvas courses. So to be gracious, I decided to leave the wonderful, amazing deal that you'll never get again at that type of deal open uh, a little bit longer first if people want to avail of So you can, I'll put the link, go to the Patristic Faith shop and purchase, sign up for those courses. Somebody had asked me at the parish yesterday at St. Mark's, and I've had this question asked too. Will a GI Bill pay for it? I'm pretty sure it won't. GI Bills are very strict. They have to be accredited. The courses themselves are not accredited yet. We're working on that. The best that we have at this point is you contact your local college or a college if you might be attending, and you basically get permission from the dean to sign off. We've had several students do this for my class to transfer. So it actually ends up getting accredited through the college that accepts it. And typically what's happened is the dean or the chair contacts me, sees that I teach these courses at an accredited college like Carroll or Husson University. They ask for my CV, my credentials, and they'll just sign off on it. And they'll accept those as a transferable 16-week, 3-unit course. That's where we're at. But because of that, the GI Bill is not going to cover until the courses themselves are actually in and of themselves accredited. So I've had a lot of that, but that's not from my end. You know, as I told people, I'm not going to refuse the military or the government sending me money. Like, you can figure out how to do that, but I even know with some of our seminaries, the GI Bill won't cover that. So, what else? Oh, I put it in there. There was something else I was going to say about the classes. Anyway, so technically speaking, we're in week 2. We started up week 2. You can go at your own pace. You don't have to go week by week. I release every Monday morning new assignments, but I don't set a due date on those because you can go at your own pace. You can purchase them and go through them later. You have access to them forever once you purchase. Typically, if you get a bundle package, I'll send you a confirmation email saying that you're registered for the course. Please tell me what of the 2 or 3 you want to, in the bundle, sign up for. Then in the Canvas, I basically have Canvas send you an email that invite that you respond to in your email, and then you're in the course. That's how it works. The other thing too I want to share with you guys and give a shout out, I try to be bringing him on and developing courses with some other professors as well. We've talked about, expanding this into an actual online Orthodox college. We haven't figured out a name, maybe St. Basil's Academy or something like that. But bringing on other Orthodox professors. And so in light of that, a friend of mine that I'd like to plug. Maybe some of you have heard of him, but let's see. This is not associated with Patristic Faith itself, although we want to bring him on. But he is doing what's called an enrichment course through St. Athanasius College. And his name's Dr. Christopher Lockwood. And his course is called an enrichment course. So it's not like it's a little bit different. It's not as involved. They're not like 16-week courses. They're basically an hour a week live Zoom lecture and then an hour Q&A. And his course, his enrichment course that he's teaching, is called Types and Symbols. It'll start in a week. I don't know why this there's something going on my end. But if you look on your computers, it'll show the breakdown of days and hours. So in a week, it's starting up. You can register for that course. Here's the course description. This course is an in-depth presentation discussion of the materials from his book. Interesting enough, published by Saint Sebastian Press. But it's about types and symbols in the Bible. And the book explores the major themes of the Old Testament as they relate to one eternal Christ, Jesus the Creator, Jesus the Son, Jesus the Prophet, Jesus the Priest, Jesus the King. And each section of the course will focus on 5 major parts within the book that he's basically going through the book. As such, the course will serve as an introduction to major themes in the Bible and present them within the context of an allegorical, symbolic Orthodox standard of Scripture. Following this approach, found in both the Fathers and the hymn of the Church, Christians may come to see and encounter the living Christ. In this way, the true meaning of Scripture is revealed and our faith is strengthened. There is your instructor right there, Dr. Christopher Lockwood, who completed his PhD in Orthodox theology at Aristotle University in Greece and Thessaloniki, and he is a theologian in the Orthodox Church and is taught as a professor in the master's program at University of St. Catherine, and he's written extensively on symbols and the Orthodox tradition. Here's the course modules. There's a 5-week course, 1 hour lecture, 1 hour Q&A. Module 1, Creation and Life. Module 2, Patriarchs and People. Module 3, Exodus and Shepherd. Module 4, Temple and Priest. Module 5, Kingdom and the Anointed. And there's the course details right there. Every Sunday evening, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, beginning November 2nd. And then they'll be recorded and provided to students as well. It's 5 weeks. And there, I already mentioned the class form is 60 minutes. The lecture, 6 by fall, 60 minutes. Discussion, it's $50. So you can you click on that, and there's the sign up right there. And I'm just going to go ahead and put that link in for you. And so we're happy to promote Dr. Christopher Lockwood, and we're going to be happy about bringing him on to, in the future, possibly do full 3-unit courses on Patristic Faith, like we do with the Canvas courses, and other professors as well. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for that. Let me put that in the chat there so you see it. And DPH too. I've talked with them last night. I'd love to bring DPH on to do some. I don't know, Dr. Muller. I don't know how to do that. The courses are structured. Dr. Muller's Michael Muller is a nutritionist and chiropractor who specializes in testosterone therapy. Like, obviously, that doesn't fit into. I can't actually do that within the framework of philosophy, theology, or great books. That's kind of the way that the course is divided, but we can fit in DPH, typical philosophy of religion course or something like that. Hushtone's 199 advice on hosting conference at a parish. It's hard. It's been 5 years of me trying to master putting on that stuff. Depends on what your funds are. Trying to think. Some of the hardest things is you're gonna have to figure out how many people that you want. Issues of capacity. I would advise plan early. You have to pay for flights, for speakers, for food, and then one of the most difficult things is writing up the itinerary where you structure and fit everything in. That's oftentimes very difficult. The smaller, the easier it is to do. 2 or 3 speakers. You're going to have to figure out, you know, pricing is difficult to figure out, are you going to provide meals? What kind of meals? Are people on their own? Um, all those things you need to kind of think about. So it takes quite a bit of planning. I recommend uh, having a conference board and then delegating so that you don't have to, it doesn't lay all on you. That's typically what I do. I have both a clergy advisory board, but obviously Montanica's is one of the largest conferences. Actually was listed in the world, the top 10. There's a lot more moving parts. It's a lot larger, and so also in terms of just staying in the bounds of correct Orthodox theology and Orthodox phronema, I have a clergy advisory board who advises. I have it blessed by a bishop. That should be pretty easy from your end. If your priest that's doing it, he basically just gets a blessing from the bishop. But it's the delegation. It's the delegation to assigning, volunteers to do certain things with the food, cleanup, stuff like that. So it takes a lot of planning. I will talk about the monastery in Oklahoma, the Georgian. Um, I have some information about that in St. Nina's Monastery. I don't want to say too much about it, but basically, what's happened is one of their lead monks, uh, I think it might have started when he was in Mount Athos, disagreeing and pushing back against stuff about the EP, even though he's Georgian, upset some pro EP people, and Metropolitan Saba of the Georgian Church seems to be a pro Greek, pro EP. There's other things involved, but that seems to be the kind of impetus of it. And he laicized um, some of these monastics and the priests, but the Synod of Bishops in Georgia are not happy with. So I wouldn't be comfortable saying they're in schism because Metropolitan Saba's possibly in deep trouble for doing what he did. Uh, with this, he's gonna be possibly deep trouble with the Synod in Georgia. So I would just pray for them. I wouldn't say they're, you know, they maybe they're still under the patriarch in the Synod of Georgia. So I'm not really sure where they're publishing articles that they're in schism. Other than that's what Metropolitan Saba put on the official website, but he might be in hot water with the Synod. So that's kind of what's going on with those issues. All right, let's see what else we have. Remember, bishops, they have a level of autonomy, each bishop, because they're autocephalous, of administering their, in terms of administration of their diocesan area. But they're still accountable to the synod. You can get in trouble for. There's no lone bishops, The checks and balances kind of the synod. So we ultimately let if there's an issue like this, let the synod make a decision and bind and decide on these issues. The only the only way that somebody's really in schism is if they're not connected to a patriarch anymore, or any bishop whatsoever, or a fake, they go under a fake schismatic or something like that. It's not clear to me that they're severed from the Patriarch of Georgia. All right, what other questions? The best, people always ask me, what's the best refutation of anything? Tag, Orthodox tag. So even of Zoroastrianism. Um, it is dualistic, but if orthodoxy is true, then all those, it's either orthodoxy, it's not orthodoxy. If orthodoxy is true, then whatever it is, Zoroastrian or whatever, is not true. I think that's the best. And it's just, I mean, the best refutation right there is an eternal God, a good God, and an eternal bad God. Like, I mean, do you really even need to go further than that? Both are equal. It's like it cancels out. What's my best epistemological argument against Islam? Um, that a monad, a strict Unitarian, is impersonal, and if it's impersonal, there's no relation between the two incommensurate categories of the finite man who's attempting to have a ground for knowledge and the one who would be in a position to know but can't reveal because he's not personal. Personal implies eternal relations to other, or implies relations to another person. Also, the whole there's nothing like Allah. There's nothing like Allah. There's no bridge to even talk about Allah or obtain as necessary conditions. Pretty easy refutations. Do I read or respond to email? It depends. Like I get too many emails. I have kind of priority emails, church stuff, student emails, but I get these emails with like 5 pages of somebody telling me a story or wanting help with. I'm just a deacon. Um, if you need, I don't mind offering kind of general spiritual advice on streams or something like that. It's always get plugged into a parish, but it's not my real duty, and I can't really without taking, if there's a serious issue, or somebody's asking for spiritual advice, I've got to take that to my spiritual father, the priest that I work with, and either hand it over to him or ask him permission to. So typically I will not respond to 5-page emails about some complicated thing in one's life or how to solve something. um it's just a time management as well, like say some philosophy thing. It's just I rarely have time to. I don't have a secretary or somebody to kind of go through those, so that's why I kind of open up this um time to basically ask some questions. But yeah, I typically, if there was an issue, I'd refer you need to talk to a priest, meet with them. So Here's an interesting question. Somebody's like to hand over the question back to you for you guys to think about. Is Roman Catholic repentance acceptable? Is it real repentance or repentance that lacks? How would you guys think about that and answer? I mean, I know what my answer, what the Orthodox or answer that I know, but also remember, keep an eye open for we're going to be opening up and doing a lot more stuff in our Orthodox Discord server with Q&As, catechesis questions. Okay, sorry, I was just writing a student. All right. Chase K, $5. Have you recognized any parallels between Pentecostal speaking in tongues and Mohammed's possessions of the angel? Oh, you mean the angel coming to Muhammad and possessing him? Hamana. Abarahanda shirabarakia. I mean, look, I don't know if I would have. I'm not sure I would say Muhammad was possessed by and no noetic being angel. Like the story is, he was communicated to. I mean, there's obviously different levels of possession. Um, but speaking with a demon, which is not a good idea, an angel mastering, demon mastering as an angel of light, is not the same thing as possession. It could lead to it, but I don't like. It's not clear. Did he make it up? Um, we don't know much about what actually happened. Obviously, if you didn't get the message from a demon, he's getting the message from somewhere, and right because he's obviously illiterate. So I don't know. There's like much about this. There's not much details about other than just claim that he received it from an angel. But I doesn't mean that he was possessed when. I mean, what's the details? Was he like writing it out? Like it's weird. No, I've never heard. That's so weird. Nate asks, Have you ever seen an Orthodox church have a place in their paper handouts where it says, "Help us worship together, insights needed for inclusive"? Yeah, that's a red flag. We talked about the other day words that I think that no Orthodox Christian should ever use. The R word, words like inclusivity, intersectionality, human rights, um, uh, misogyny. Um, Let me think of other words. Fascism, like, um, those are all anti-Christian words. They're weaponized. There's usually no clear meaning in them because their intention is not to convey accurately information, but to cast a spell, to weaponize. They emerge specifically as anti-Christian. A lot of stuff that Patrick and I were talking about, yeah, anti-Semitism is another one that you should never use. Um, and they come out a lot of the kind of ideas that Patrick and I, when we're going over the history of philosophy and post-modernity and some of the stuff that's going on. So yeah, I'm a big stickler on them. I don't ever use sustainability, good one. Judeo-Christian, yeah, any of the phobia words, don't use them. Yeah, you want to build a church. I'd be careful about for a priest to run. I wouldn't do something that, or even in terms of the ideas by yourself on that. You want a priest and um, it doesn't have to be officially like a 501c board or something like that, but don't be doing stuff by your like, oh, I want to do this and build something and do for the church. Like, there's a proper kind of order in the church to save you from making kind of mistakes. That you're being guided by clerical advice on that, getting a thumbs up by a priest and stuff like that. Um, so just reach out. But it's hard. Like, yeah, it's something hard to do. Social distancing is another. Um, Let me bring up something. Let me pull up my profile and then I can share this. So the question about contraception, I'm starting to notice this more often. Like the questions that are asked are wrong questions. So if you ask it in a Western Roman Catholic, like, what is there a consent? Like, they're two entirely different systems. So dogma and consent, like the way that that looks is totally different than. So you can't take the standards of an incorrect system who's unjustified and apply it to Orthodox and be like, well, it doesn't fit and match this. It's like, that's exactly right. That's what my paper's about. Um, how knowledge is even understood in the East and West is about as far as the East is from the West. So I can answer, is Father Michael Lilly points out, responding to one of these papists. The Orthodox Church does not allow contraception, but relative to its use in very few pastoral situations. So this is another problem with the West. We talked about this last time too, is in Western thought, and then it's exemplified obviously in Roman Catholicism, is that there's this kind of abstract propositional rule, absolutism. In ethics, to say something is not absolute is not to deny that um, it's not objective. Objective has to do with the ontological, moral, or epistemic status of something. It's not dependent on what your feelings are, what it transcends you and it's binding upon. However, we don't have a type of monism and absolutism that rules are applied everywhere at the same degree in every situation. This is something that Roman Catholics can't understand because they're pharisaical. They're literally proposition rule worshippers. Um, they care more about a Platonic, ethereal, theological system made up in their head and be like, whoa, I've got the rule here and it's never violated, or than they do actually about people's lives. And so we have general rules, right? That, for example, thou shalt not lie. Never? Well, St. Basil says there's times when not only is it allowed, but that it's obligated for a Christian to. So, how those rules look in different situations, we're not going to commit what's called the fallacy of accident. You should always return your, borrowed property to its rightful owner, and you borrow your neighbor's hunting rifle, who then has a psychotic breakdown and has his family tied up in the house and says he's going to kill them and everybody in the neighborhood. And oh, by the way, he wants his property back, his rifle. Well, the rule said Roman Catholic would actually give them that. They're like these weird Kantians. They would give them back the. So you have to understand, is contraception allowed? No, generally speaking, there's no in and of itself, but how that's applied. There might be situations, just like the lying, or returning, not returning, or returning property back to its rightful owner, that might be allowed in terms of pastoral. So what we don't do is how these things in terms, they're not derived in terms of a Platonic legal system of Kantian rules, that it's like, well, it says this, or um, they think that provides some type of like certainty. Oh, what got the consensus? See, what's hilarious in Roman Catholic, it's never even practiced. So it's like, what good that you built a stupid Dungeons and Dragons Platonic theology game in your mind, but like it's consistent when your church looks and is doing the stuff that it's doing. So it's an unreality, the system. So again, how these things in terms of consensus, those are things that that there is the canons. There's the rules on, but there's constant. Are there any situations in which it's allowed? A few, right? You got to look at, just like a doctor would look and take medical history, the, and be like, look, this actually might cause death and far more damage. So in this case, I'm gonna apply economy and not. So it's always in terms of love and salvation and what's best for, and we're not bootlicker rule worshiping Talmudic um, Pharisees. The Moscow Synod does make it clear that such means must not be abortive in nature. So there are some no-goes. So you can't use abortive contraception. And this is often no different than natural fanning planning, right? And notice the papists, it's like they engage in contraception even at the canonical level, not just like obviously people are practicing contraception and but they do natural. That's a type of contraception. Um, on the ground, he says among Catholic women, about 68% use highly effective method of sterilization. So they're engaged in. But no, we don't allow. We certainly, there's never any exceptions to abortive. The other ones, there might be in rare cases, but you need to watch Ubi's video on with and Dr. David Bradshaw, who wrote extensively on this. Cats legal, like if you're killing people and destroying their families and lives and stuff like that to follow rules, I think that's legal. I don't know. Like I don't know what the. I'm not a priest who counsels people in. I do know there's a consensus on that in terms of Passover, the in non-abortive contraception, there might be rare cases in which it's not good for them to abstain from sexual relations. Um, and that one might use, but I don't know exactly what that looks like. You'd have to talk to a priest who's had extensive experience with that, but I know it'd be really, really rare. But it's not handled by what laity think. There's not a system of rules that's like I just pump into my canonical calculator and it's handled pastorally. Like so it really doesn't matter what, you know, we're not part of that relationship. That's how, you know, orthodoxies always handled things pastorally, and they're informed through the canons and their experience and you know the consensus of the fathers and stuff like that. But it's a virtue epistemology. There's no formula or hard and fast rule on. I mean, obviously, again, like I said, there's no goes. You can't do certain things. Um, but it's the wisdom and virtue of the priest that acquires right virtue, right, ethics, who's able to make the decision. And you're outside of that because you don't have the formula, you don't have the wisdom, virtue, and experience to kind of understand how that works. Firesman Joel, $10. Thank you so much. Why do we ask priests to excuse us and stuff we already know to be forbidden? I don't know anybody asking priests to murder somebody. That's what I'm saying is abortive contraception is forbidden. Are non-abortive forbidden everywhere at all time? Like, no, once in a while there's, so you have to ask your priest, but something that's a hard and fast rule. Um, I don't know. You'll have to, like I said, I can't give you an example. I just know that's the Orthodox position. Is there are some that are not strictly forbidden. There would be. It's like divorce too. Is it strictly forbidden? Like everywhere else? Like no. Let me see. But I don't know what the example. I just know that that's the position of the Orthodox Church. You'll have to ask a priest who's had to deal with. Um, Let me see if they give any specific examples. And we don't have to understand that. If that's the teaching and practice of the church, it doesn't matter if we don't get it. The church doesn't owe us an explanation example where that's how it operates. That's how it operates. Like, but it's definitely there are no-goes. But that doesn't mean the church allows contraception any more than it says. Does the church bless divorces? No, it has no right of divorce. Does it? Let me see if I can find. Um, there was some examples in here. Let's see. Let's look at this Orthodox bioethics here. Contraception here. What? Just watch the. I'm sure in the Dr. David Bradshaw on Ubi, I'm sure there's examples that I can't think off the top of my head what that would actually be. Um, I do know that Father Andrew was talking about. Father Andrew is big on critiquing marital fasting. Says it causes more kind of problems than it does good. And this is this kind of weird stuff that's come in from monasticism. There's a real danger, by the way. Metropolitan Journals talked about mixing monastic life with parish life and vice versa, parish life from monastic life. But those weird, like marital fasting things, guess where that comes? It comes out of a monastic, like, and priests who have dealt with parishioners have done like it's been oftentimes destructive to marriages. And notice it's a prelist. Oh, it's all in the sense of like being holy and abstaining from. It's like, well, what is it producing? So I imagine there might be things. New camera, bought a new camera, by the way. It should be coming in a couple days. Better camera. But I don't have it yet. Um, I'm thinking there might be situations, something like that, that um, marital fasting would destroy the relationship and cause some serious problems, and they need to be working on kind of an intimacy within the marriage bed, um, but not ready to uh, always be. You always have to be open to the possibility of a child, but may not be. It might be devastating to you at that point, financially or circumstantially, or I don't know exactly what the details would be for them to have a child, but they need to be having intimacy and not fasting. So I imagine it's along that those realms. Uh, Also, I'm thinking more so a more clear a case is there are certain kind of conditions that you could risk the life um, of the mother, um, and attempting to have a child, but spiritually, the priest basically would say that you shouldn't be fasting in the marriage bed. You have an issue that needs to be resolved with that, and that wouldn't help. But if you did that, you could risk the life of the mother. Like I said, it's a pretty really, really rare cases. That's why I'm like, I can't even think of, but it would probably be along those lines. Well, I went in and I messed with the colors on the camera, is what happened. Anyways, go look up the Ubi and Dr. David Bradshaw. First of all, I think like I'm agreeing with Father Russell, Father Andrew, and Metropolitan Jonah. Like marital fat, like that's like I don't even think it's orthodox. I think it's I don't even get into the details. I'll defer to them to. It's destructive. I'm not saying there's not a couple cases that it might, but like this is not something that was universally practiced in the church. It comes specifically out of celibate monastics bringing this stuff into parish life. Yes, they address the St. Paul talks about um, marital fasting within the context of what's going on, but it's just again uh, that's not given different situations is not something that and he specifically I think speaks about that in terms if you're having a like are there no reasons why you should no I didn't say that uh if but there's obviously context if there's issues of kind of like causing lust beyond your you may abstain for but it just seems like a pipe like it's a weird prelist and again it's just weird rule where like oh there's these rules that you apply everywhere at the same it's like no there isn't I mean different times and requires applying kind of rules at different stringency that's what about can't like the canons are all about. Anyways, I don't want to they're better at speaking I don't deal with that stuff like I don't I don't do confessions and work and marital counts like so I defer to Father Andrew, Father Russell, and other priests who have had to work on that and seen the problems with. So even if St. Paul talked about it, and there was a time, I mean, you're not living first of all in the first century, and apostolic. So I don't know why you're bringing that up. No, they're having these. They're called like Wednesdayers and stuff like that. That they'll fast on like Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and then you fast before. Yeah, I don't. I definitely don't agree with Father Peter Hears on that. But he gets that from like the Saint Anthony's, and so I'm saying it's like these weird rules that Father Andrew went off. Like he did a whole thing up here on. You should I should find it. Yeah, it doesn't make any like especially in this day and age and things people are having problems in marriage like well, at least I'm holy and I'm abstaining from. Oh, good for you. Like we're all so impressed by I'm just tired of this piety signaling. All right. Yeah, I turned up the saturation on that. Let's move to another topic. I'm over this. Contact Father Andrew, Father Russell, Metropolitan Jonah. They're really good at. Ah, Donna Juta, Andre, uh, Jamie Fatchett, Bine. Andre's asking for rugatunas. You want a rugatuna for uh, entering the church. The Sedeca. Let me find it for you. There is a specific chair, a prayer for entering the church. Of course, when you're gonna find it, you can never find. Mm-hmm. Oh, here. Prayers upon entering the church. I rejoice when they said to me, "Let us go to the house of the Lord." I will enter with thanksgiving, O Lord, and worship in your holy temple in fear of you. Guide me, Lord, in your righteous. Direct your path before me, that unhindered, with pure heart and upright spirit, I may glorify the one God, head, Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. That's one of them. Let me try to see if I can find in my Romanian prayers. Oh, it feels good to stretch. Um, Here's my Romanian book of prayers, but it doesn't have it listed in. I mean, you can find it in Romanian. Just read to you guys the Romanian. Let's see. Rugachuna. Maybe it's in. of the day. Prayers of the day. Let me see if it has in the prayers. Don't see it in this one, but you can find it. There are prayers before entering the church. Anyways, good question. And then reach out to the parentele, and just ask them, be like, Father, could you pray for me to have pace, peace. Cu pace Domnului să ne rugăm. Peace. Let us. All right. You plan on becoming a priest with your own parish? I've been trying to avoid it. Probably. It'll probably happen. That's not up to me. I've turned my archbishop, my Romanian archbishop, when I was serving the Romanian parishes, tried to ordain me twice, and I took it to my spiritual father because I'm obedient, and I knew that in light he was saying no, not yet. I turned those down, so I'm not ambitious. Like, I like being a deacon. It's very blessed. But when it's right, and when I'm called, I'm not gonna run from it. Like, so it's the best way. But the bishops decide. I mean, it's not up to me, but I mean, we need one, so you have a candidate here. It's just, I'm gonna enjoy it. I don't push for it. I trust God, and there's two different types of deacons: permanent deacons, and then deacons who are either open to becoming priests. You actually sign, are you open to becoming priests? I'm like, I'm open. There's some, like the deacon was ordained the day before that I served with for in the Romanian parish for 4 or 5 years. He was like, absolutely not. I had no intention. Then there's those that are specifically being taught to be priests, and they'll become deacons for. So it just depends, like, on the situation. But no, there is a permanent office of deacons. Like, in those cases, they're not supposed to be priests. Then there's those that are open, and there are those that are specifically being trained to become priests and will go through the diaconate. Does that help? Let's see if we have any more super chats. Oh, one just came in. Quinn, what's your perspective on Halloween? How should Orthodox people interact with the holiday, if at all? I mean, let's just start with the like, again, with anything. Like Hamile was bringing up, like, there are no-goes. There's things that you should not be doing. Let's just start with the clear. Don't start in the muddled areas. Avoid explicitly, like, satanic stuff. Same with music too. People ask, like, should I be live like? I don't know. It depends where you should probably be talking to your spiritual father priest who knows you a lot better. I can't give kind of universal, just generic rules. Yes and no in all these areas. I'm back. There's the extremes, stuff that seems perfectly acceptable in secular music, for example, and things that aren't, right? Just start there. As you get closer to where it's not clear and certain maybe issues that you have and experience, like your priest who's pastoring you needs to answer those. I don't know you. I can't actually. But in terms of Halloween and any types of festivals and music, like just start at the extreme. You shouldn't be engaged in explicitly satanic um just disgusting stuff. How about that? um does that mean that you can't go to, if your kids go to the other extreme, can your kids dress up at a wholesome event or something like that, especially surrounded Orthodox, and they're a bunny or something, like, it's like, well, that obviously seems okay. And we don't want to be, again, identify the extremes. Go to your priest when it comes to stuff that's like a little bit more convoluted. Should I be doing this? But we, at the same time, we don't want to be weird, kind of Protestant puritanical. I mean, this comes from Puritan, like that anything, if I'm touch anything that's tainted in the world, then I'm contaminated or something like that. So I think this is kind of a healthy, matured. I think that Father Moses has, because there's definitely, I would say, an extreme in the Orthodox, uh, these kind of autistic moral pietists, and they've got to go every, like, and they got to preach about. First of all, why are laity preaching to people what people should do on Halloween or not? Like, I just don't understand. I mean, we wanted to make T-shirts. Go ask your priest, the one who knows you, right? If he's a good pastor, he'll give you. And again, what is that? That's virtue ethics. He'll know if he has the wisdom and experience, and you already. How do you know that? Because you've spent time and experience, and you see the fruits of his labor. You know, you develop a trust. Like, I don't listen to your priest. Like, what? Don't be listening to people online who are laity. Um, and just know, you probably know that there's certain stuff with, like, well, that definitely you shouldn't be doing that. Dressing up as demons and celebrating death and stuff, like, don't do stuff like that. Um, um but I think Father Moses has a good video on. And the question is, do you need it? No. Like, do you need to do any? No. Like, the question is it allowed? Maybe in certain circumstances. Like, I don't know. I don't know what the party is that you're going to, or like how the child's being dressed up. Um, you got to talk to your priest about that. Who knows you? Knows what the situation is. But yeah, you see Theocracy and Joy points that, like, you get the moral pearl clutching autistic orthospurgs. All secular music's from the devil. Music's of the world. I don't listen. It's just like, don't listen to those people. That's for sure. Like, that's all I'm trying to say, is that it seems like there's an element of that comes in every year, Halloween, and then we'll be like, oh, FDA's gonna clip this. Is a mod? It's like, I didn't actually give any. I said I actually took no position on that, other than it should be very clear there's stuff you should not be engaged in. I didn't take a position other than you better go talk to your priest who knows you, who can pastor you well. Okay, so don't twist my words. He's a modern. He's bringing satanic stuff into the orthodox. Like, I didn't say anything. I said go talk to your priest about. Um, I think I'm doing a stream with Christopher Lockhart, but at the same time, I'll probably buy. I actually feel worse giving kids sugar candy than actually saying that might be a participation in Halloween. There's gonna be kids knocking at the door, like I don't know, like you feel bad, put an icon up on out, like or somebody said like angels redirect people away from the evil rather than be like I block my doors, I don't protect. Like I don't know, there's a way to like not be like that, but at the same time not participate in the evil. Like feel bad about done that before. Put an icon up next to the candy and a candle or something like that. All right. What else do we have going? That Jonathan Pageau actually had a good kind of take on Halloween too, kind of history. Lolo Snow and Lolo Pass. Um, Snow and Helena. Where is this? Above Helena on the road. Yeah, I woke up. It looked like there's some snow. Uh, I mean, like this. Is this evil? I think the most part, it's too bad that it's associated that with there's a lot of kind of dark stuff. Like I wish we kind of did have another holiday where kids, people. I think for the most part, people just like dressing up, like doing stuff. Too bad there wasn't another holiday where you could do stuff like that. Um, oh, I remember Christmas when I was in grad school. Uh, one of the my colleagues who was a PhD, he was actually a Marxist, unfortunately. He was a good guy though. It just was confused. He dressed up as Santa and I was an elf. I want to see if I can find that picture. It's in here somewhere. Photos. Um, albums. Let's see. Might be in here. Can you believe this is what I used to look like? There. That was in our department. I had dressed up as um, psychopathic philosophy elf at the 2008. How crazy is that? Anyways, for whatever that's worth. Old silly photos. Yeah. How'd you know? Elf Aura, Elf Maxine. But if the like, I don't. I'm tired of talking about it. Just talk to your priest. Use common sense. 6 foot. Unless I'm shrinking. Let's find some more stuff. What is going on in the world? Oh, somebody said something. Who mentioned earlier in the comments? Somebody did a debate on tag and didn't do well. Is that what somebody said? Hey, why do you guys think people are so obsessed with tag? What is it like on the cute? There are certain things people get like really honed in, and that's why they become jokes. Like when we open the X spaces, they'd be like, no tag questions, no PS. What is it? Why is it we get more of those questions than almost anything? Interesting enough, it really hasn't come up today other than somebody mentioning, like, you guys had some really kind of interesting, good questions today. Oh, that's so we got a good response. I always liked throwing the questions back over to you and seeing you work through, and it gives me insights too. Zaprasolo says tag is annoyingly good, and atheists just hate it. So these people work in like they probably have intelligence centers. Like they're all like on the like almost call centers. They're like trying to break it. Like we're trying to break the code nonstop. There are literally cells, underground chat room cells where they're working 24/7 to break it. Is that great? Don't you just kind of get some pleasure by annoying the enemy? Like, it bothers you, doesn't it? It bothers you that I say this? Lord, forgive me. So it probably comes up over and over again. Tag, Trig Quinn says, tag, you're it. Brings memories of tag, you're it. Wi-Fi Gospel. Who did he... Was it on YouTube or something? Did he debate? Who was the person he even debated? Like, I don't... Remember when those tards came in on X and debating Chase and I about the Odyssey and stuff like that? Let's see, Wi-Fi Gospel. Of course, Jim Bob wants every time. Jim Bob, I'm telling you, you're gonna have to call me to get permission to stream at the same time that I'm streaming. Oh God, was it Danny? I don't know if I could watch it. Lord have mercy. It was Danny, wasn't it? Danny the tranny. Guy's so pumped. I mean, he really thinks he's like some amazing philosopher or something. I I don't know if I could watch it. I don't think I could do it. Yeah, good point, Zapper Solo. Yeah, H. Brossi. Why is anybody wasting their time debating sodomites? Where? How did this come up? Civic sodomites is what I call the civic sodomite. Not even once. See if we have more super chats. Yeah, Dave, look really for man. We're gonna have epic. epic office hours tonight. Huh. No super chats. Oh. Oh, I found another word I just thought about. Words that should be banned. Also conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theorist. I can't believe. Look at this guy. How normie do you have to be? I think he's a philosophy professor too, unfortunately. And he has Danny on. Have you seen this guy? Dr. Derek McAllister. Remember he teamed up with the Papists and Dr. Christopher Thomas Wesky and Dr. Trent Dortry. I think they went to the same. I think he comes from um, Baylor. He literally does a. He's got 1,000 subscribers, so nobody cares what. But I saw this one. I don't even know how it popped up. Leftist. Let's see. Our woke leftist conspiracy theory lunatic. He does a bunch of stuff on like conspiracy theory. It's just like, yeah, that definitely should be one that's banned from the vocabulary. There's some other professor too that literally teaches classes on exposing conspiracy theories, and it's just like, now, by the way, I get it. I mean, obviously, there's things that I would be like, it's ridiculous. You know, QAnon, everybody's lizard people, um, plateaus were giant mountains that were cut down that are petrified. I mean, the ice wall, and like, I get, like, okay, there's stuff out there, but there's gotta be another. There's gotta be another word that we use for that kind of thinking versus just this weaponized word, anything that I don't. Remember, this is what they were doing in the Koof years. Gaslighting, weaponizing this word to shut you down. So I think that's another word we should add on the list. Like, all right, you got to come up with another word. You can't use that anymore. Yeah, Trent crashes that. That's too bad. Oh, here's one. Yeah. A weird group of people that believe that there's some old remnants of Tartia civilization. Yeah, I mean, Yakub's. Yeah, that's another Wakanda. Things that are legitimately conspiracy theories. Ban anti-nappers. Good one, Crispy. Amen. All right, let's try to find some more news. No more. Remember Adam Green, Rabbi Green? I mean, no more noose. That's what he should call it. No more noose. He has no more noose. That's another interesting. How do people fall for such retarded people and stuff? Next week, it's hard to fall. No, Trent Dortry. There's more than one Dr. Trents in the world. Hate to tell you, it's true. All right, who sent me? Oh. Let's go to X. See if there's anything interesting going on. Ubi Petros writes, sitting at a table at coffee hour today, 2 girls and 5 guys. 3 of these guys said they were introduced to Orthodoxy by Jedi and Deacon Ananias. Who's Deacon Ananias? It doesn't matter the parish I attend. I never hear anyone else named, just J's. What is this even a response to? Well, that's nice. Thank you. Happy to do the Lord's work. Um, yeah, but where is that in the Bible? Should I retweet it? Or does that seem? I don't want to like sound be like prideful. It's not me. I'm just a deacon. I want that shirt. It's just I'm just the deacon. But I am happy to do. I enjoy my work. It's blessed. Like why? Because I get to serve you guys in the kingdom. Like I really, really a wonderful job. No, why do people always think I'm Rocor? Do you know there's no Rocor parishes in all of Montana? This whole weird thing came a couple years ago where people were like going after me and calling me like a Putin, you know, and Rocor. And I'm like, is that just a default? Everybody must be in Rocor? I don't get. Just curious. I'm no offense to. I'm not saying offense. I'm just curious what made you ask the question. I'm Romanian, Episcopate OCA on loan to Bishop Maxim and the Serbs. Rocor has a lot of problems. Like you'd be surprised. It's not the based like jurisdiction you think it is. But yeah, it's true. Like, I think that the kind of based traditional people online lady who converted usually probably go to the real core. Um, and I was baptized in the Antiochian, but I've never actually switched jurisdictions. I've always been in the same jurisdiction, Romanian OCA, but there's no Romanian parishes here, and I serve attached to the altar in Holy Trinity Butte and Holy Ascension Mission Parish, which is a satellite mission parish of Holy Trinity, and so I'm on loan. Um, but good question. All right, other questions. Super chats, questions. Gosh, who's this Mike Winger guy? He's got to be a Protestant. Mike Winker. A bit too. Winger's a little bit too close to Mike Wiener. Bible thumping, Bible thumping Protestant apologist. Mike, look at Mike Wiener. Uh, Christian Martin and Luigi did a video on reacting to crazy Protestants, pastors. Well, there you go. Wait, there's crazy Protestant pastors in the world? Well, stop everything. The Bible thinker. Which Bible? Which Bible, Mike Wiener? Should I debate him? Calling you out, Mike Wiener. Oh, Lord, Joshua Shipping. Yeah, what a disaster that was. I used to actually talk to that guy. He used to send me stuff to review. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Yeah, you can't go to a true Orthodox. Not part of the church. I got an OCA parish next to me and a pagan Hindu temple. Which one can I go to? I'm not saying TOs are paid, but like it's always just so funny that people will ask these questions about can they go to non-Orthodox churches, uncanonical or non-communion. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think your priest would say to that question? Yeah, it's like the one guy they got that apostatized. Yeah, we got him. The Orthodox Studies Institute. What is that again? I was associated with St. Constantine College. I want to put this out. Forgive me for this. I won't even say any names, but remember when you guys asked me? Remember when you guys like basically asked me a question the other day that is physiognomy a pseudoscience like phrenology? And it's like we start statistically figuring out like it's just too too much. Like, why is it that there's online Orthodox content creators? Why do they look some of them so soy? Is that judgmental? I might need to go to confession for, but there's something real there, right? Like I'm not naming who they are, right? So I'm not sure I'm doing anything, but it's just as like it's beta gamma male soy energy. You know what I'm talking about? There's something real there, right? Am I crazy? What if it's a real problem? Like we're not supposed to. It's like I'm not. Again, I'm not gonna mention names, but it is something real that needs to be addressed, right? I'm reading your. They're open right now. I put it in the. You can sign. I'm gonna keep them open for a little bit longer with the deal. I'll put it in. But we're already in week two. Like today, we started week two, so they've been open for 2 weeks. My question is, without naming certain people that seem all right, I don't think that physiognomy is actually a pseudoscience. There's some kind of like it's just statistically improbable that it's not actually something there. And there are, I'm not going to name them, certain Orthodox content. I say even clergy too. I've seen clergy that have the gamma or beta male soy energy. That's all. That's all I said. If I'm wrong for saying that, I'll go ask for forgiveness. But it seems not like an ideal that we want our leaders and teachers to kind of exemplify. That's and I don't think it's coincidental when they have certain kind of takes. Be like, huh, where'd that come from? Be like, I don't know, maybe there's a connection to low T, kind of soy face, gamma vibe energy. Maybe I that's all I'm saying. Maybe yeah, I don't want to name it like that's it, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think you're right, Gabriel. Um Sin causes corrupt and also lack I think you know, I don't know if I would say that it's necessarily a sin not I mean it could be. I mean it depends on what we mean by sin, right? Typically what we want to focus on as orthodox is soul destroying actions rather than just like is it missing the bar, is it below par? um yeah, that's what I mean. Like certain things with like eating unhealth is like, is it a soul destroying action to not eat health? I'm like, maybe. As Father Russell says, you can do better. However, because the way people eat, sedentary life, there's kind of generally speaking, like it isn't good. It is kind of soul destroy. Like it's not where human beings are supposed to be at. And it seems to me that it affects other things in life, in the family, and the way that you think and even theology and stuff like. That's all I'm saying is that we can do better. We can do better as human beings. Yeah, I think it's terrible to. I think it's a terrible look. For example, I mean, we clergy the same as you. Like, don't we're just trying to work out our salvation too, but at the same time, we're held to a higher accountability. Accountability, and it's not a good look. Um, that 1 second. Oh, it's the dude. Chase is bringing up the whole debate. It's not a good look. They are clergy when they're obese and have problems with gluttony. It's we could do better. Do better. Yeah, Father Moses did a video on. At the same time, I know like um priests at the same time are men working out their salvation, have issues just like everybody else, but like I think it's a good way to put it. We can do better. It's not a good look for the church to have one struggles and sins visibly present, uh, where people could be like it's hypocritical to. And we're all hypocrites. I get it, but there's a reason why we say that, especially in positions of authority, whether it's in terms of the faith or just a professional, to be beyond reproach. Um, Look good for the public. Like, do your best. You know what I mean? Wear your Sunday best. Look professional when you go to work. Like, I get it. We all have sins and stuff like that. But you don't need to air your dirty laundry like at work, right? And show everybody. So that's what's kind of hard about health is there's no way to kind of hide that. And I'm not saying hiding it like in a bad, like I hide myself. It's like no, you don't look professional in your position, right? That's not like a vicious way of like in terms of vice hiding something. But it's yeah, people don't need to see. You need to make a good appearance. How about that? Even if you're a mess. That's all I'm saying. Now, don't worry about any jurisdictions. You're a lady, you have no. Again, every stream we've got to do this. Think about the parish itself. Don't even consider what jurisdiction it is. It does no matter to you. If you there's concerns of the priest or the people in the parish, like that's an issue for you, but you don't need to worry about jurisdictions and what issues they have or don't have. You're not baptized or married or wedded to a jurisdiction. You're free to. So you're thinking at a local parish level. You don't need a blessing from a priest to attend church. And if you don't have a church, people ask us all the time, there's no church, 8 hours with it. It's like you have to move. I'm not saying you have to move now, but like, yeah, you have to have the sacraments. Like, you can't be like, what do I do? Can I just pray inside my head and not receive the Eucharist like, no, like you can't actually do that. So you're gonna have to contact a local. You're gonna have to move. I mean, look, if people move for jobs, but they're not gonna move for their salvation, it's just weird to me. I'm not saying you personally, but this comes up like where people are like, I can't move. I'm like, you'd move for a job, probably move for a girl, but you're not gonna move for the Lord and salvation. Like, I'm not saying you got to do it right away, but you got to plan on eventually getting to a place where you have a local parish. All right, other questions. Hmm? Hello? Wow. Rosoy. CO, how do I say? $50. I'm a catechumen. I need to thank you for your catechesis class and the discussion on forgiveness this summer, which helped me when I need it the most. Thank you. Thank God bless you. Thank you so much. I'm glad that those have helped you and that the workshop on forgiveness. It was intense. I was blessed to hear all you and to be able to help in whatever way I could. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, every jurisdiction has a lot of problems. That's what I'm saying. I'm not isolating out any one jurisdiction over another. But people have this idea like, oh, I'm going to Rocor because it's the most based. Oh, I'm not gonna air dirty lot, but like, yeah, every jurisdiction, including Rocor, has issues and problems. I've had. So that's what I'm saying. You don't need to worry about jurisdictions. You need to think about um, a local parish level. Well, I don't need to tell you every single issue and problem that every jurisdiction has been involved in. You don't need to worry about that. Just uh, as Hamile said, men are imperfect. Our doctrine and dogma and sacraments and the Lord is perfect, but it's a divine human institution. We make mistakes, like people, you know. But what Scripture says, God, men intend for evil, God intends for good. That God can bring, even out of people messing up, God can have a divine human institution and bring and save people's souls. Now, it's not the same thing as like the Protestant idea, like, well, there's all imperfect. We're all imperfect. It's like, no, we don't mean the teaching and the dogma is imperfect. We mean at an individual level and, and sometimes administratively, like, there's problems. Like, nobody should be so naive to think that doesn't happen. Oh, Rosia. Rocio. Rocio. Awesome. Thank you. I'm glad that you put it out that way. I seriously have. I must be retarded. I know I am in many ways. So I can't pronounce words. It's crazy. I got a PhD and I can't even pronounce words. Lord forgive me. Keeps me humble. And no, yeah, you don't have to worry about. There's no problems of any concern unless you're clergy, right? Where you're bound and you're dealing with administrative and um, but obviously you're not. There's nothing for you to worry about. Oh no, that's the worst. I mean, I have such. I'm so retarded with pronouncing the names of our saints. I feel really bad because of it. Um. All right, let's see what else is going on. Some cool stuff in Bucharest. They're consecrating the cathedral. Yeah, Father Michael was like, why are there theater chairs in? Oh, you know what's weird? I forgot about this when I was in Yash at the cathedral in Romania. During they actually put chairs in theater, like these theater kind of chairs. Only a couple nights because it was all the conference presenters and attendees and stuff like that. But I remember they'd taken them out too, so I'm assuming that it's because of all the people coming. They're putting that in. Um, there's an church in Ireland. A whole Protestant church converts to Orthodoxy. Good news. Um, Wes Huff giving a bunch of L's as usual. Mention on the pull up all the lists of parish scandals and small errors in my area that may choose the perfect parish for my yeah. No, I haven't heard anything about St. Anne's Hand coming to any of our parishes up here. I'll let you know if it does. All right. Yeah. So Wes Hop wants to collapse the three sacerdotal order. Biblically, biblically, pastor, elder, bishop, three words are the same thing. These people really have a problem with words. It could be in certain cases. Yeah, like I mean, here's the thing. None of that's evidence that there's not actual real sacerdote. What is bishop, episcopos, overseer? Are they an elder? Yeah. Are they a pastor? Yes. So it's fallacious. It's like saying, um, every dog, every dog is a every dog and cat's an animal. Therefore, every uh, animal is a dog and cat. That's actually Wes Huff's. Every bishop is an elder and pastor. Therefore, every pastor and elder is just the same as a bishop. Like they're all, there's no kind of like genus species kind of distinctions between. It's like that's not true. Father Christian Siskos. St. Dionysius Areopagite, who was converted by St. Paul in the book of Acts in his work on ecclesial hierarchy, already had 3 roles of the deacon, presbyter, and bishop. He even connected those roles on 3 steps of spiritual life purification. So what do? They write it out. And remember, any evidence, they do the same thing with the Bible too. You know, prayers for the dead. Well, obviously that contradicts my position, so I changed my canon. I'm not going to have that in there. Well, I don't accept it. How do we know what the apostles were thinking and writing and teaching? Is look at the time of their disciples and what they were writing under their leadership and under their authority. Well, I don't count that because that's not the Bible. Anything that contradicts my position, I don't accept, right? I mean, what a stupid ad hoc minifications, I call it. So that's why they call them pseudo-Dionysius. I mean, they just call them pseudo-Dionysius. But it's true. This person says maybe a better example for somebody like what's St. Justin Martyr. Yeah, like this is a modern academia that hates you and hates Christians says that it's a Dionysius work is pseudo and attributed to the 5th, 6th century and not. Those are guys that you go. These faggots actually said. These gay faggots who stick things in places they shouldn't be, like, said that they must be right and the church fathers must be wrong. Yeah, every thumb is a finger, therefore. Good, yeah. All right, I think we're gonna have to wrap it up. Let's see one more super chat. According to Scott, like, why would you quote squat like? Bart Ehrman says. So the church must be wrong. These guys are always they're antichrist. They don't believe. Most people don't even believe in God. They're constantly changing their positions, making up new stories and theories, and be like, "That's where you're putting your trust." Actually, secular gay academia says. Really? Oh my gosh, dude. The wrist breaker. Dude, why people do stuff like this? Look at this. never, ever, ever do something like this. Please tell me it's not 50 calories. Oh, it's not 50 calories. I'm gonna do it.
Everything that you
Oh
desire.
my god. It literally looks like it broke his wrist. Never. Never. Sour cookies. Sends in 500 RSD. If they any advice on finding a husband. The guys in my parish don't stay to hang out, and the worldly guys just smoke and drink and party, gamble, play games all day. Wow, I'm almost 30. I feel like I'm screwed. That's hard. Uh, well, yeah, this is really interesting. Father Andrew are talking about what we hear is the women in Serbia are saying that exact same, like the guys aren't interested in church, they're interested in all the wrong things. And then we have a unique opposite problem over here. So over there's plenty of, wonderful Orthodox women, and then there's no guys for them. And here, the guys are reporting they're having a really hard time finding really good women, and there's, all these guys. So it's we're like, maybe we're gonna have to start doing the matchmaking. I've always said too that going to Orthodox social events and even conferences is a great place to actually meet people. Um, it's harder when you're not kind of in big populated areas like Montana, but that's the only thing that pops up in my mind right there. And just put your faith in God, as Hame Leia says. Like, God, the Lord will provide at the right time, at the right place, the right person. Yeah, Gabriel, there's been talk or banning Orthodox going to AI, but then Father Paul says the more Orthodox engage with AI, you just got to be careful how you do that. The more Orthodox it'll become. So that was an interesting take. Hey, sweetheart, how old was I when we got married? 2029. 1 year younger than so, and I'm 48 now. In case you want to know. All right, all right, all right, all right. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna be doing more VC Q&A stuff in our Discord. If you're banned from Discord, I cannot help you. May God have mercy on your soul. I award you no points. I run it, but I've relinquished what you might call it, administrative stuff. this guy, Ethan Wayne. I'm not gonna lie, I've seen some people. I told Father Russell, I'm like, have you seen some of the people in our seminaries? They're gonna be our future priests. I know we have a priest shortage, but like, that's our future. Lord help us. I mean, Lord help us. Like, yeah, I'm old, man. You know how old I was? People are always like, yeah, H. Prowse, exactly. That's one of that guy, it was just, I just saw something. No discernment among people, like on, most lady. Oh, I'm gonna follow this Orthodox content provider. Oh yeah, it's using AI for apologetics. Remember, I caught somebody in a debate. I hadn't ever reviewed it, and I was watching. I'm like looking up and doing AI in the middle of the debate. I can't believe that. Why didn't I see? Like, I guess I was just too focused in the debate. I was like, give me a break. Well, we have something up in Montana called that Father Russell put together called the Montana Experience, where we take people who are either seminarians, um, or potentially thinking about going, and we train them to be men. I train them in rubrics, like Father gives them business, and accounting stuff, and we just train the soy right out of these men. We leave them out in grizzly country and have to fend, and when they come back, they're stronger than ever. They're ready to become men and lead and become priests. No, we really do have something like that up here. Get them off the soy slop and kibble. Get some of that red Montana meat, protein up. All right, everybody, let's do a stretch. Doesn't feel good to stretch. Ah! Oh. That's the other thing too that's been coming up. If you don't know tag well enough, like don't present it. You're gonna embarrass yourself. Um, that's with any. I don't know why everybody thinks they're qualified to like debate and have to defend. Well, that's it. I guess you can raid Jim Bob. Just tell him to go. I mean, the guy goes for 5 hours. Just tell him to start an hour later. Yeah, I did too. I love, I love joking with Jim Bob. Anyways, that is all. Don't forget to. I'm gonna keep up a few more days. The canvas. I put the link in there. Also, don't forget to check out our dear friend Dr. Christopher Lockwood's course, which is really affordable. 5-week course, enrichment course. I'm going over his book. And that until, let's see, Wednesday. What's going on? It's just been so crazy busy. I've got to like really be good, diligent about my calendar. There's something going on Wednesday. Oh, Orthodox movie night. So that means Wednesday morning I'll probably see you for morning prayers, unless I get called to do something. That is all. May the Lord God bless you, keep you. May His grace shine upon you, preserve you, and may the Lord grant you many years, even though it's not your birthday. May He grant you many years. All right, that is all. Take care, everybody. Go have fun over at Jim Bob's stream, and I'll see you Wednesday. God bless.